attended a whole bunch of meetings, but it was all about Hampshire Council of Governments. We are moving forward. If you remember back 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, when we first proposed electricity, Town of Belchtown. Town of Belchtown made the right choice, and that is to go with real time. We also have a profit sharing plan, which about half of our communities use. But at the time, what everybody else was marketing was fixed price. And we said, you shouldn't go with fixed price, it's a big mistake. Well, using the theory the customer is always right, we are going to start to offer a fixed price. It's not as good as what we're discouraging prospective customers from using it because it's going to cost them more money. But it's an expansion of the program. We know towns that will buy power from our power company, the one we own as residents of Hampshire County. So we're going forward with that, and it'll expand the program and eventually the services.
Thank you. Actually, I'm all set. Mostly was visiting colleges for my daughter. so I'm getting a shooting pain in my hip pocket again.
Want to share the pain, right?
It's just beginning. Wait till you have to pay for it.
I've already got sticker shock.
Still feeling it.
No, Elizabeth Serpente, I was up in Montreal this past weekend, nice country. But as I mentioned earlier, the Western Mass Casino Task Force will be meeting at Munson Town Hall Thursday at 7 o'clock. It's an open meeting. The topic of discussion at that meeting with the representatives from the area communities is whether or not there should be a regional vote to support or not support the project. So it should be a very interesting discussion, and the papers have been discussing some issues between member communities. So
well, it seems like the people who might be the host of the casino might not appreciate the surrounding towns having a say in the matter, but yet people who live in the surrounding area are also going to be
right.
and have impact, and also feel like they have some say in the matter.
Right. And that's really where it's really gotten a little contentious. Mainly what people have to do is simmer down, here's the concept, and as far as, you're right, it's such a large project that the impact will be felt, as I call it, ground zero, out. The host community is the community that benefits the most. Most of the money, almost all the money go to them. The mitigation money that we have put in, the proposal, I gave each of you a letter that went out with the different suggestions that we're having, because they haven't defined anything. The legislation, the initial 70-something pages of legislation, if you ever want to read a bureaucratic mumbo-jumbo that didn't say anything, that was the packet. I think it's just conceptual. You know, if you read the Boston Globe, everybody's saying the votes are there. That's going to take, it will probably come to fruition this year, later in the fall. But what we need to do is, what is the impact to the area towns? And as I said, when I first went into this, I told people I was very much pro-casino, or pro-gaming. I still have that position, but I'm not necessarily, I'm very concerned about how Belchertown will be impacted by such a large project next door. And I don't want to get into the NIMBY situation, but there are true mitigating circumstances that will impact area towns that we have to be aware of. And as we go through the process, to make our legislators aware of that, so that the formulation of legislation can be written to protect those towns. And that's really where I tell people that's my role, is to protect Belchertown.
And the veracity of that impact, Michael, is an unknown, isn't it?
It is, in some cases in Connecticut, there are known factors that have occurred.
So you have something to refer to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are some very negative factors. There are some positive factors. So what we need to do is really vet out all the pros and cons and how it impacts us. But the legislation is key to how it's set up. You know, do we have a gaming commission that's set up out of Boston, similar to, Jim, when you were dealing with the roads, where they had the people from Boston could say, okay, yeah, we have local representation, but two of us can take all your money away. That's one of the biggest pushes, to have more local representation of how this is impacting us. And it will.
If the surrounding towns get a share of the income, does that diminish what the host town gets?
No.
No, so it doesn't have a financial impact on the host town?
The host town, there's a from what I understand, there is a set share for, what do you call it?
Impacted areas?
The impacted areas, but they have not defined what is impacted area. Is it one, the communities directly around it, or does it go out for miles? They haven't defined it, and that's the key to any legislation.
Yeah, plus the town where it's located obviously gets the real estate taxes, which the surrounding towns are not gonna get. We would, but we can get a lot of the same problems.
The issues that, if you've read
Yeah.
the letter, we tried to, in the group that was set up, even though people may have personal views, it's to forget about those and look at what is the impact to your town. And that's really where we're coming from. So, you know, I have my reservations, and I've learned a lot that I didn't know. And you know, it's not a panacea to everything.
Thank you. Anything else come before the board? Questions from the press? Questions from Channel 5? We're adjourned at 9:36. Thank you.